Bill,
Hey, what are you doing here? Do you live here?
Yes, officer. This is my home. I'm watering my garden.
I need to see some ID right now. Let me see it.
Of course. Here's my license. The address matches this property.
Huh, okay, sure. IDs can be fake. Step off this porch.
Officer, I'm on my own property. You have no legal
Don't
basis.
lawyer up on me. I don't care about your...
June 14, 2023. Charlotte, North Carolina, Dilworth Road East. Judge Sarah Matthews, 17-year veteran of North Carolina Superior Court, one of the state's most respected judicial authorities, stood on her own front porch watering roses after a grueling day in court. In 11 minutes, a routine police call would destroy a 9-year police career. Officer Derek Hamilton didn't know the woman holding a garden hose was a Superior Court judge. He didn't know she'd sentenced 17 officers for misconduct. He didn't know she sat on the Police Oversight Commission. What he did know, she was black on a porch in an affluent neighborhood. His bodycam captured every illegal word, every constitutional violation, every moment that would cost him his badge, his freedom, and cost Charlotte $3.2 million. The judge's roses were blooming. The officer's career was about to die. Judge Sarah Matthews wasn't just a judge. She was the gold standard. Duke University undergraduate, summa cum laude, political science and constitutional law. Harvard Law School, top 5% of her class, editor of the Harvard Law Review. 25 years in the legal arena. 8 years as an assistant district attorney with a 92% conviction rate. 17 years on the Superior Court bench. Her record spoke volumes. 2,300 cases presided over. 94% of her rulings upheld on appeal, the highest rate in the district. 0 ethical complaints. 0 reversals for constitutional errors. Not one. Chief Justice Mark Davis once said, "Sarah Matthews represents the gold standard of American jurisprudence, brilliant, fair, uncompromising in her defense of constitutional rights. If every judge had her integrity, our justice system would be flawless." She was senior judge of North Carolina Superior Court, Criminal Division. She sat on the State Judicial Standards Commission. She oversaw a $12 million court budget and supervised 47 staff members. She led the statewide Judicial Integrity Task Force, the very body responsible for police accountability reform. Beyond the courtroom, she was a mother of 2 college students, a volunteer at the Legal Aid Clinic every Saturday, an adjunct professor teaching constitutional law at UNC Charlotte, and an active member of her local NAACP chapter. Judge Matthews had dedicated her entire adult life to one principle: the Constitution protects everyone. On June 14, 2023, that principle would be tested on her own front porch. Twilight settled over Dilworth Road East as the neighborhood eased into its evening rhythm. Judge Matthews stood on her front porch in business casual clothes, the same outfit she'd worn in court that morning for 3 back-to-back murder trials. 11 hours later, she was finally home. The garden hose in her hand sprayed cool water over her rose garden, the simple act therapeutic after a draining day of legal battles. She was preparing the garden for her daughter's graduation party that weekend. Just a peaceful moment, just a mother tending to flowers. 3 blocks away, Officer Derek Hamilton sat in his patrol car reviewing a call. Anonymous 911 report. Suspicious person casing houses on Dilworth Road. No description, no specifics, just a vague complaint that would later be revealed as a racist neighbor who'd mistaken Judge Matthews, a 15-year resident, for a prowler. Hamilton was a 9-year veteran of Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. 3 prior citizen complaints, all dismissed. Recently reprimanded for aggressive tactics during traffic stops. Known in the department as by-the-book aggressive. 127 arrests last year compared to the department average of 64. He stepped out of his patrol car. By 11 minutes later, his career would be over. Little did Officer Hamilton know, the suspicious person watering roses was the judge who'd sentenced 17 police officers for misconduct violations. His bodycam activated. The recording began. Officer Hamilton's boots hit the concrete walkway. His voice cut through the evening air, sharp and accusatory. "Hey, what are you doing here? Do you live here? I need to see some ID right now." Judge Matthews set down the hose calmly, turning to face the officer with the measured composure she'd used in courtrooms for 17 years. "Good evening, officer. Yes, I live here. This is my home. I'm watering my garden. Is there a problem?" Hamilton's hand remained on his belt. ID, now. Judge Matthews reached into her pocket, retrieved her driver's license, and held it toward him. The address was clear, 2847 Dilworth Road East, the same number on the mailbox directly behind Hamilton. The license is clearly visible on camera. Address matches, no discrepancies. Hamilton barely glanced at it. IDs can be faked. How do I know you actually live here? You could be squatting. Step off this porch. The words hung in the air. An illegal order, cured forever. Judge Matthews' tone remained professional, but her legal training kicked in instantly. Officer, with respect, I'm on my own property. I've provided identification proving my residence. Under North Carolina law and the Fourth Amendment, you have no legal basis to detain me or order me off my own porch. Hamilton's jaw tightened. His voice rose. Don't lawyer up on me. I don't care about your amendments. When I give you an order, you follow it, period. Judge Matthews held his gaze. I'm not lawyering up, officer. I am an attorney. In fact, I'm a superior court judge. You may want to call your supervisor before this goes any further. I said step off the porch now, or I'm placing you under arrest for obstruction. The threat was illegal, crystal clear violation of the Fourth Amendment, specifically, unlawful seizure. The Supreme Court established the standard in Florida v. Royer, 1983. Law enforcement officers cannot restrain the liberty of a citizen through physical force or show of authority without reasonable suspicion of criminal activity. In simple terms, police cannot order you off your own property. They cannot threaten arrest for standing on your own porch, and they absolutely cannot detain you without reasonable suspicion that you've committed a crime. Standing on your own porch isn't a crime. What Officer Hamilton should have done: verified the address through dispatch, apologized for the confusion, cleared the call as unfounded, and left. Instead, he doubled down. Judge Matthews responded with surgical precision. Officer Hamilton, I'm citing North Carolina General Statute 15A401. You lack lawful authority for this detention. I'm requesting your badge number and supervisor immediately. Hamilton's face flushed red. His voice dripped with contempt. I don't care if you're the Queen of England. You're acting suspicious, you're being non-compliant, and I'm the one with the badge here. That means you do what I say. Another violation, First Amendment retaliation. The Supreme Court ruled in Neves v. Bartlett, 2019, threatening arrest because someone asserts their constitutional rights is itself a federal civil rights violation. Constitutional law professor Dr. Amanda Chen from Duke Law later testified. The moment Officer Hamilton threatened arrest because Judge Matthews asserted her rights, he committed a violation under 42 U.S.C. Section 1983, deprivation of rights under color of law. Judge Matthews remained calm. She pulled out her cell phone. I'm recording this interaction, as is my right under North Carolina law. I'm calling your supervisor. Hamilton's hand shot forward. Put that phone down. You're interfering with my investigation. Officer Hamilton grabbed Judge Matthews' wrist. Hard, he attempted to snatch the phone from her hand. The bodycam captured everything. Judge Matthews' other hand immediately raised, palm open, fingers spread, the universal gesture of non-resistance. I'm not resisting. You are assaulting me. I'm a superior court judge. Remove your hands immediately. Her voice stayed steady. No aggression, no physical response, just clear documentation. Assault and battery under North Carolina General Statute 14-33C. Assault on a government official. Also federal assault under 18 U.S.C. Section 111. Hamilton twisted her arm behind her back, forced her against the porch railing. Judge Matthews' face pressed against the wooden post, rose petals scattering. Officer, you are physically assaulting a sitting judge on her own property. Everything you're doing is illegal. Stop immediately. He didn't stop. Metal handcuffs clicked around Judge Matthews' wrists. Hamilton tightened them, too tight. Medical examination later would document bruising and minor lacerations on both wrists. False imprisonment. Arrest without probable cause. Fourth Amendment shredded. North Carolina GS 15A401 requires reasonable grounds to believe the person has committed a criminal offense. There were no reasonable grounds. There was no criminal offense. There was a black woman on her own porch with a garden hose. Judge Matthews' voice cut through the chaos. calm and clear for the bodycam recording. Officer Hamilton, I am Superior Court Judge Sarah Matthews. I am being unlawfully arrested on my own property without probable cause. I demand your supervisor. I am not resisting. Witnesses are recording this. Hamilton's response became the most damning quote in the entire case. I don't care if you're a judge, the governor, or the damn president. You're under arrest for obstruction, resisting, and whatever else I decide to charge you with. Whatever else I decide to charge you with. He said it on camera, admitting he was fabricating charges. The front door flew open. Kayla Matthews, 19 years old, pre-law student at Duke University, ran onto the porch screaming. That's my mother, she's a judge, what are you doing, Mom? Her phone was up, recording tears streaming down her face. Judd G. Matthews, hands cuffed behind her back, forced herself to stay calm despite the terror in her daughter's voice. Kayla, go back inside, film everything. Call Attorney Chen. Do not interfere, do you understand me? Do not interfere. Kayla stood frozen, sobbing, the camera shaking in her trembling hands. 4 neighbors rushed over. Gerald Morrison, a 72-year-old retired attorney, white, respected in the community for 40 years, pushed through. Officer, I'm an attorney, I know Judge Matthews. She lives here, I've known her for 15 years. You're making a terrible mistake. A terrible mistake. Hamilton didn't even look at him. Sir, step back, this is police business. Dispatch crackled over Hamilton's radio. Unit 47 confirmed status. Supervisor en route. ETA 4 minutes. 4 minutes, 240 seconds, an eternity. Patrol Sergeant Linda Torr's patrol car screeched to a stop. She stepped out, saw the handcuffed woman, and her face went pale. Hamilton, what the hell are you doing? Do you know who that is? Hamilton's voice was defensive, aggressive. She was non-compliant, refused to provide. Derek, uncuff her right now. That's Judge Sarah Matthews. She sentenced my brother-in-law last year for drug possession. She's a Superior Court judge. Hamilton hesitated. I don't care, she was non-compliant, she's under arrest. I'll sort it out at the station. Kayla collapsed into a neighbor's arms, hyperventilating. Judge Matthews stood on her porch, hands cuffed, dress wrinkled, hair disheveled, wrists bleeding slightly from the too-tight metal, and her voice never wavered. Officer Hamilton, you will answer for this. Every second of this unlawful detention adds to your civil liability. Every moment is documented. I suggest you make your next decision very carefully. A black Chevrolet Tahoe pulled up, lights flashing. The door opened. Police Captain Marcus Williams stepped out and froze. His eyes locked on Judge Matthews, his face drained of color. Oh my God, Derek, do you have any idea what you've done? Hamilton's confidence flickered. Captain, she was. Williams cut him off, his voice sharp enough to cut steel. That's not a suspect. That's not some random resident. That's Superior Court Judge Sarah Matthews, the same judge who presided over Officer Jennings' misconduct trial last month, the same judge who sits on the Police Oversight Commission, the same judge who personally trains us on constitutional policing. You just arrested the one person in Charlotte you should never arrest. The bodycam captured Hamilton's face. The color drained. His hands started trembling as he fumbled for the handcuff keys. Captain Williams wasn't finished. She's the chief judge for the criminal division. She sits on the State Judicial Standards Commission. She oversees our department's reform initiatives. You just gave her a live, recorded demonstration of every single thing we teach officers not to do. Hamilton's shaking hands finally unlocked the handcuffs. They fell away. Judge Matthews rubbed her bruised, bleeding wrists, her eyes locked on Hamilton with the cold precision of a surgeon removing a tumor. Her voice was ice. Officer Hamilton, you have committed multiple felonies tonight. You will surrender your badge and gun to Captain Williams immediately. Captain, I want internal affairs here in 10 minutes. I want the police chief personally notified tonight. And I want every second of this bodycam footage preserved. It's now evidence in a federal civil rights lawsuit. Hamilton's voice cracked. Judge, I didn't know. I'm sorry. You didn't need to know who I am, Officer Hamilton. You needed to know the Constitution. Your apology is irrelevant. The law will speak for itself. Judge Matthews turned, walked back to her porch, picked up the garden hose, and resumed watering her roses. Officer Hamilton stood frozen, his career ending in real time. Three agencies launched simultaneous investigations: the FBI Civil Rights Division, the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, and Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Internal Affairs. A joint task force. High priority. Expedited timeline. 6 weeks. Normally, these investigations take 6 months. Judge Matthews' status accelerated everything. The evidence reviewed was overwhelming. Officer Hamilton's bodycam footage, 19 minutes 12 seconds. 4 neighbor cell phone videos from multiple angles. Sergeant Torr's bodycam showing her arrival and Hamilton's refusal to comply. Dispatch audio recordings. Judge Matthews' own cell phone recording. Medical examination documenting wrist injuries, bruising, lacerations, soft tissue damage. GPS data. Hamilton's previous complaint history. 3 dismissed complaints that suddenly looked very different in hindsight. The investigators found 11 distinct constitutional and criminal violations. Violation 1. Fourth Amendment unlawful seizure. Law broken. U.S. Constitution Amendment IV North Carolina G. S. 15A401. Damning quote. I said step off the porch now, or I'm placing you under arrest. Explanation. Ordering a citizen to leave their own property without reasonable suspicion of criminal activity. Violation 2. False arrest imprisonment. Law broken. 18 U.S.C. Section 242 Deprivation of rights under color of law, NCGS 1443-3. Damning quote. You're under arrest for obstruction, resisting, and whatever else I decide to charge you with. Explanation. Arrest without probable cause. Admission of fabricating charges on camera. Violation 3. First Amendment retaliation. Law broken. 42 U.S.C. Section 1983 Neves v. Bartlett precedent. Damning quote. I don't care about your amendments. Explanation. Threatening and executing arrests specifically because victim asserted constitutional rights. Violation 4. Assault on government official. Law broken. NCGS 14-33C, 18 U.S.C. Section 111. Evidence. Physical grabbing, arm twisting, forcing against railing, all captured on video. Explanation. Physical assault on a sitting superior court judge. Elevated felony charge. Violation 5. Excessive force. Law broken. Fourth Amendment Graham v. Connor Standard. NCGS 15A401D. Medical evidence. Bruising, lacerations from overtight handcuffs, soft tissue damage. Explanation. Force applied to a fully compliant, non-resisting individual who verbally stated, I am not resisting, multiple times on camera. Former U.S. Attorney Jennifer Blake reviewed the evidence and issued a statement that became part of the official record. This is a prosecutor's dream case. The bodycam footage shows willful, knowing violations of clearly established constitutional rights. Officer Hamilton's statement, I don't care if you're a judge, proves criminal intent beyond any reasonable doubt. This wasn't negligence. This wasn't a mistake. This was contempt for the law itself, committed by someone sworn to uphold it. The morning after, Officer Derek Hamilton was suspended without pay. His badge number 4739 and service weapon were surrendered to Captain Williams in a humiliating ceremony witnessed by 12 fellow officers. FBI agents arrested Hamilton at his home. He was handcuffed, ironically, and perp-walked to a federal vehicle. The footage aired on every major news network. The image of a former cop in handcuffs became the story's defining visual. The charges were devastating. 18 U.S.C. Section 242, Deprivation of rights under color of law, federal felony, 10-year maximum. NCGS 1443-3, false imprisonment, class 1 misdemeanor. NCGS 14-33C, 4, assault on government official, class I felony. 42 U.S.C. Section 1983, civil rights violation, civil liability. NCGS 14223, resisting public officer. Prosecutors charged Hamilton for ignoring Sergeant Torr's direct order to uncuff Judge Matthews. The trial began September 2024, 14 months after the incident. It lasted 6 days. The jury deliberated 2 hours and 17 minutes. Guilty, all counts. Sentencing, 3 years federal prison, 2 years state prison served concurrently. Total active sentence, 3 years in federal penitentiary, Fort Dix, New Jersey. But prison was just the beginning of Hamilton's destruction. The North Carolina Criminal Justice Education and Training Standards Commission revoked his law enforcement certification permanently. He could never work as a police officer anywhere in the United States, ever. Reciprocal agreements meant 47 other states also banned him. His pension, valued at approximately $340,000 over his lifetime, was forfeited under North Carolina's public corruption statutes. Civil court found him personally liable for $127,000, the portion not covered by the qualified immunity exception that was stripped away due to willful and wanton conduct. 3 months after his arrest, his wife filed for divorce citing moral incompatibility and irreparable harm to family reputation. The divorce was finalized in November 2023. Hamilton filed for bankruptcy in November 2024. His adult daughter publicly disowned him on Facebook, writing, "I was raised to believe my father was a hero. The body cam proved he was a criminal. I no longer claim him as family." The financial devastation was immediate and comprehensive. Judge Matthews filed a federal civil lawsuit in August 2023. The city's attorneys reviewed the body cam footage for 48 hours and reached an immediate conclusion: this cannot go to trial. Settlement: $3.2 million, paid to Judge Matthews in February 2024. The city settled pre-trial to avoid the spectacle of a superior court judge testifying against their own police department on national television. Legal defense costs: $847,000 in attorney fees, expert witnesses, and court costs. Insurance premiums: Charlotte's liability insurance rates increased by $1.2 million over the next 5 years. Total financial cost: $5.247 million. Leadership accountability was swift and brutal. Police Chief Patricia Donovan was forced to resign. She voluntarily retired, with a reduced pension after the city council privately informed her the alternative was termination for cause. Captain Marcus Williams was demoted to lieutenant for failure to adequately supervise Officer Hamilton despite 3 prior citizen complaints. Training Director Thomas Hayes was fired outright for inadequate constitutional rights training and failure to implement reform recommendations. Sergeant Linda Torres received a 30-day suspension without pay for arriving at the scene and failing to immediately physically intervene to stop the illegal arrest. 3 backup officers who arrived during the incident received written reprimands and mandatory 40-hour retraining. Hamilton's field training officer, who'd recommended his promotion years earlier, quietly retired under departmental pressure. The Department of Justice investigation found systemic failures. Their report mandated comprehensive reforms. Mandatory supervisor approval required for any detention or arrest on private property. Automatic internal affairs review for all arrests of attorneys, judges, doctors, elected officials, or federal agents. 72-hour bodycam footage review required for all use of force incidents. Duty to intervene policy with criminal penalties for officers who witness constitutional violations and fail to stop them. Public complaint database: all citizen complaints now accessible online. Hamilton's 3 prior complaints became public record. De-escalation attempts required before any physical contact. Bias audit mandatory for all officers with 3 or more citizen complaints. AI-powered bodycam systems now flag constitutional violation keywords in real time. I don't care, whatever charges. You'll do what I say. Alerts sent immediately to supervisors. Real-time supervisor notifications for any detention exceeding 5 minutes. Constitutional law training increased from 8 hours annually to 40 hours. Judge Sarah Matthews herself now teaches the mandatory course: Constitutional Policing in Practice, Real Consequences for Real Violations. Officer Hamilton's bodycam footage is mandatory viewing in every police academy class in North Carolina. The case study is titled, "How to Destroy Your Career in 11 Minutes." The Civilian Review Board expanded from 5 members to 11, with subpoena power. Federal consent decree monitoring for 5 years. DOJ oversight of every policy, every complaint, every use of force incident. Quarterly public hearings before City Council, with live-streamed proceedings. The Fourth Circuit Court ruled in Matthews v. Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, 2025. Officers receive 0 qualified immunity when violating the constitutional rights of individuals, especially judges, whom they know or should know possess expertise in constitutional law. Ignorance of the victim's identity is not a defense when the officer demonstrates willful ignorance of the Constitution itself. 14 prior cases where Hamilton was the arresting officer were reviewed. 3 wrongful convictions were overturned. 3 innocent people, who couldn't afford Judge Matthews' resources, were freed after years of incarceration. North Carolina House Bill 847, nicknamed the Judge Matthews Act, passed in March 2025. Mandatory bodycam activation for all police citizen contacts, 5-year mandatory minimum sentence for assault on judges or judicial officials. National media coverage, 87 combined segments on CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News. Judge Matthews appeared on 60 Minutes, The Daily Show, and NPR's Fresh Air. The bodycam footage has been viewed 34 million times on YouTube. Judge Matthews published a memoir in September 2024, Handcuffed Justice, When the Law Breaks Down on Your Own Front Porch. It became a New York Times bestseller, remaining on the list for 19 weeks. She founded the nonprofit Know Your Rights Foundation, teaching constitutional law in underserved communities across North Carolina. Judge Matthews still serves on Superior Court. She still teaches at UNC Charlotte, and she gave the keynote address at the 2024 NAACP National Convention. Her closing words from the memoir: "I didn't want to be a symbol. I wanted to water my roses. But when the law breaks down on your own front porch, you have 2 choices: accept it or fight back with every weapon the Constitution gives you. I chose to fight, not for me, but for every person who doesn't have a law degree, doesn't know their rights, doesn't have a platform. Derek Hamilton gave me that platform. I intend to use it until every officer knows the badge doesn't put you above the law. It puts you under a higher standard." This wasn't just about a judge. Judge Sarah Matthews had advantages most people don't: a Harvard law degree, 17 years of courtroom, authority, resources to fight back, a platform that forced the world to pay attention. But the violation, that happens every single day to people without those advantages, people who don't make national news, people whose bodycam footage never goes viral, people who never get their $3.2 million, people who just get a criminal record and no justice. 3 things you need to take from this case. 1. Know your rights. The Fourth Amendment protects you on your own property. Police need reasonable suspicion to detain you and probable cause to arrest you. If they don't have it, you can refuse, politely, clearly, on camera. 2. Record everything. Judge Matthews' daughter's cell phone video corroborated the bodycam footage. Your phone is your witness. Know your state's recording laws and use them. 3. Bodycams save lives and end careers. Officer Hamilton created the evidence that destroyed him. Demand bodycams in your city. Demand the footage when something happens. They protect good officers. They expose bad ones. Here's my question for you. Was 3 years in prison enough for Officer Hamilton? Should it have been more? Should police departments be held financially liable when they ignore red flags? Drop your answer in the comments. If you believe bodycam truth matters, if you believe no one is above the Constitution, hit that subscribe button. We bring you real footage, real accountability, real justice every single day. Share this video. Someone in your life needs to see it. Someone needs to know their rights. Someone needs to know they're not powerless when authority abuses them. Judge Matthews waters her roses now without looking over her shoulder. Officer Hamilton is in federal prison. The bodycam recorded it all. The truth won. That's why we're here. When cameras roll, lies fall. Stay informed, stay empowered, always know your rights. I'll see you in the next one.